So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Cork in the North podcast. Big thank you to everybody that's been with us on this long and arduous journey to hell and back. We've moved to a new studio, as you can see. We're there, we're getting there. The sofa is due to arrive pretty soon. We're upscaling, we're going big, we're going bold, and probably go bankrupt. And that's just the way it is. Please do sign up to the Patreon. It's £3 a month. You'll get loads of extra episodes, loads of benefits, features. You get tickets off on the live show and also my tour in 2024 as well. And you'll be able to get first dibs on them. So please do, if you like what we do here, you like our little chats, you like the bit of crack that we have, you like the guests that we bring on, for the price of less than a coffee. It's less than a caramel. A caramel latte is about $3.70. And if you're buying coffees and you can't even give me 3, you're a disgrace. I'm only joking. But listen, thanks, but support us, please. We're currently in debt management and we're being taken over by some sort of shark fund to distribute the assets that we have, which is, quite frankly, half of the stuff is Colin Geddes' equipment. So good job sending the bailiffs around. Anyway, listen, this week, ladies, on the podcast, a first for Cork in the North. This is a first for us. A musician, a local musician, and not local in the future, but going to be a much worldwide known musician. Tiernán Heffron, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming into the studio. I've heard a lot about you.
Oh, a lot
Mostly
of
from
different things.
Yeah, we've played you on the radio and Q. Mm-hmm. You're a guy here from the North.
Yeah,
you're doing really well for yourself.
Thank you. So
and you've had a really good sort of last 12 months, would we say?
Thank you. Yeah, it's all kind of picked up and kind of took off a little bit over this past 6 months, conveniently.
And what is the difference from when things pick up? Mm-hmm. What do you think because you've been gigging for years? You've played what? Yeah. Oh, you told me 2,000 gigs.
2,000.
But then in 6 months' time, in the last 6 months, a switch happens.
Yeah.
What caused that?
Well, the real switch, there's a few different things all came together at the time. Like I've been gigging away since I was 15 in bars and pubs and anywhere to have me. And then since I was like 4 or 5, I wrote my first songs. But it was only after this past year where things started to really pick up. I'm sure we'll talk about a few things later on in the podcast. But one of them was I was doing a pub gig in Mackeraw and who happened to be there?
Oh,
Earl, who is the program manager at Q Radio.
He's actually my boss.
Yeah, and that really was a moment where it kind of something started to change, because before that, I'd done a gig down in Dublin opening for Tim Chadwick, an Irish artist, and I met his band, and a couple of them produced their songs, this guy called Alex. And then we got in touch and I drove down back and forward to Wexford a few times to paid more than I've ever had for a really good producer to create these songs. So I had this one really good song, it's out at the minute, called Strangers. But before I jumped in and released it, I always the main thing for me, no matter how well that song's done, I want to back it up. I get more of a kick out of backing up that song. If it does well, have another great song even better. So I held on to the song for a while and I was trying to write the next one. And I was doing this gig in Mackeraw and
which is next to Magrafeld.
Yeah, which is next to Magrafeld.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
And I was setting up. I've never played there before, and the manager comes out to me and was like, "Do you know how to set this up?" I'm like, "No, is it an in-house system?" This and he goes, "Listen, the DJ's coming in, and he'll help you." So next thing you know, Earl walks in. I didn't know who he was.
What about you?
Yeah, just you
wanted him help there.
I didn't know who he was, what he was doing.
How's it going? I'm Earl.
And he went, "Well, how's the music going?" I went, "Yeah, it's good. Write my own songs and stuff." And he went, are you the Taylor Swift guy? And I went, yeah. And he went, I work for Q. And I went, oh, do you? What's your name? And Earl. And I went, that's interesting, because I remember around that time, Yaz messaged me and was like, send your music over to my boss and the email. And he actually did get me a few wee plays. Yeah. So I was able to thank him there and just be like, thanks for that opportunity at the time to break me into radio. And I says, look, listen, I have this new song. Can you please take a listen to it for a minute and see what you think? So he put the phone to his ear and he listened to it, and a minute in he went, you need to get this out and I'll get it played to get in the playlist. I'm like, I know, but I need to write the next one. So I said, look, when I'm ready, I'll give you a shout. So I went down, wrote a brand new song, recorded it, so I had to send it to him, and then that's where it kind of started getting played.
You know, such a mature decision there.
Yeah, I could have rushed into it.
That was such a mature decision.
Yeah.
Fair play to you for doing it.
I was driving home being like, should I just upload it tonight? Just get it on Ditto, release it and get it played. And I was like, no.
You could get lost then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I waited a couple of weeks. The new song finally came, booked a studio, went down, recorded it. Now I had 2 songs. So it meant that if I release this one song, at least in 2-3 months, I've got another song, which then gives me another 2 months, 3 months to create another one.
Yeah.
And then from that, I started getting played in Q. Then Radio Ulster started picking it up. Then Cool FM put it in their playlist. And I think my songs got played over 300 or 400 times already. And inside 6 months. So I worked like 10 years. Messages to everybody. Nothing. To even get one play for me was
And it
amazing.
takes something, a chance meeting at a gig.
Yeah.
And the right person walks in and just sees something. But we mentioned there about, are you the Taylor Swift guy? And I saw this.
You saw it really down in Cork?
No, I saw it
No way.
online. Now, I'm going to, just so I know that you know I saw it.
That's crazy.
She was in a bar. You were performing. She was
Yeah.
visiting her boyfriend in Belfast. Now, are we talking 2018?
No, this is 2021. This is just after
All right.
lockdown.
And did she say something about 10,000 hours?
She did.
Yes.
Yes. Do you remember that?
She was over here visiting her fella at the time. Now, Taylor Swift seems to have a lot of boyfriends.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I've got a feeling I'm probably in the queue to be up there because I'm due a go at any point, like in terms of the amount of boyfriends she has.
I've got a really funny story about the queue. I've got a really funny story about this.
Oh, right. So let me just get right. So you're in the bar playing a normal gig.
Yeah.
Are you doing covers or are you doing your own stuff?
So, yeah, right.
You start. Tell me about how you felt when you woke up that morning.
Do you want the whole
Tell me the
story?
whole
Because I'll
thing,
tell
man.
you the whole story. So at the time, I was working in a special needs school called Castle Tower in Ballymena.
Right.
So it was just like any other day, really. I remember that day, funny enough, writing like a number line, just like for the kids and stuff, and just thinking, this is all right. This is getting off, just writing a number line, just average wee day in school. And then I remember I came home and I just felt like this is a good day, like looking forward to the gig tonight. And I was playing in a bar in Belfast in the Tipsy Bird every Friday. I had a residency.
Yeah.
And I walked in and there was these balloons and it said like conversation with friends like CWF,
Yeah.
I was like, what's this? Is this a birthday party or what? She went, oh, it's a rap party. There's a program shot in Belfast called Conversation
Yeah.
with Friends. It's the cast of like normal people. Some of them are going to be there. You might need to do a really good set or maybe a longer set. And then this is just after restrictions had kind of lifted. So I was like itching. I was like, listen, like if it's a 3 or 4 hour set, I can't wait. This is good. I just want a good gig. So I started doing my gig, started my set, and I was about 10 minutes into it, and it was just one of them horrible starts where like the speakers weren't working and the monitor was working. It was bassy and it was out of tune and it was just really hard. And in the middle of like getting really warm and sweating and becoming red, this woman comes up to me, I'll never forget it. She went, "Here, mate, Taylor Swift has just walked in. Just like, Taylor Swift has walked in." And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, like I've never heard that one before, like
Yeah, as if she has.
That is the last thing that I need to happen right now. And I looked up and there she was. Taylor Swift was walking through the room. And even thinking back to it now, I get goosebumps. Like I just remember the feeling, like my belly just dropped, my knees just started shaking, because I knew like how I was really lucky to compartmentalize how lucky I am to be in this situation right now. It was like someone give you a lottery ticket. I was like, right, let's run with it. Let's it's her walking in's one thing, but can I keep her in the room? Can I make her enjoy it? Can I make her feel like she's just a normal person like everybody else and give her a good night? Because I would say she gets out a lot, but I don't think she's ever out in public like this so normally. So
no bodyguards. Was there like anything?
I think there was, when I think back to it, there was a couple of guys in suits that were kind of walking around near her and stuff. They had a SUV outside the bar with security in it. Two like not trucks, like Range Rovers,
right,
waiting just in case anything happened, because obviously, it started getting around already that she was there. So I actually heard like a year later people had come to the bar that night being like, "Is Taylor Swift here?" And they were like, "No."
That is mental. So you're there, you're playing, she comes in.
Yeah.
Does she sit? What goes on? What's the next?
Okay, yeah.
phase?
So she was with Joe Aldwin at the time, her
Right.
boyfriend. So they were together.
He's an actor, wasn't he?
Yeah. They were together and they were very like, loved up. They were hugging, sitting down and chatting away and stuff. And I just thought to myself, do you know on TikTok, the way there's so many young artists and it's just such a competition. Do you know, like everyone's out for themselves. Everyone wants to go viral. Everyone wants to have the next best song. Like if you put like independent artists into TikTok, you see like 3 billion hashtags. So I thought at that time, I'm so lucky to be here right now. And I've worked so hard out of all my gigs. I just need to do what I can do. So what I done was I muted everything, because I remember about the sound wasn't very good. So I muted everything, took off the guitar, and then everyone was coming at me like, what are you doing? What are you doing? They thought I was like crapping myself because I was so nervous. I didn't want to do anything else. And I was like, just give me a minute, please. So I just tuned my guitar, set all the bass, the treble down to like the middle, and just reset everything, even while she was there and the pressure was on. And I got a decent, good sound. And I just went, I tell my mom when I go home. She just jumps off the chair, starts clapping, starts dancing around, bringing out her boyfriend, dancing, having a margarita in her hand. And she was loving it. And it made me feel more relaxed. And then I just kind of went into this own wee zone. You know, like when you're doing a comedy, you have your own wee world.
Yeah.
And I just watching the whole thing going on. And then this woman, I'll never forget it, this woman comes up to me, I was like, can you sing? And it was probably Wonderwall or Mr. Brightside. Next thing you know, Taylor Swift just comes running up, drink in hand. Oh my God, you're so good. What's your name? Who are you? That was a really terrible impression. Yeah. And then I was just like, I remember going, my name's Tiernán Heffron. I'm a singer-songwriter and I'm 22 and I'm a special needs classroom assistant.
You sound like you were auditioning for the X Factor. Yeah,
pretty much, yeah. But I remember going,
my star sign is Aries and my mother's maiden name is Smith.
My star sign is Aries, actually.
Is it?
And my mother's maiden name is Smith.
No.
It's not.
Oh, good. Thank God for that. No, wait. Is your star sign Aries?
Yes.
I am
yeah,
Aries.
I'm an Aries. Cass, that's
March,
me why we're getting
March?
on. I'm April.
What date?
The 9th.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
March.
Yeah, I love being
So
Aries.
you start talking to her and she's right in front of you.
So I start talking to her and she's like, who are you? What do you do? Like, what's your name? So I said I work in a special needs school, but I work really, 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 really hard on my own music. So I wanted her to know that I'm not just playing in the bars. Yeah. I want to create my own music. So she was like, how can I follow you? So I was just like, well, there's my Instagram. Took my Instagram, showed him Instagram, showed him a Spotify. Now I had like 3,000 monthly listeners. She's probably looking at it being like, all right. She's probably sitting there with like 100 million. Well, maybe not at that
how do you
time.
follow me? Well, I live up there. You can follow me at any time around that corner. I'll meet you in the park for a cider.
But she was just so lovely, and I literally felt that I could just say to her, "Here, do you know what? Let's just stop talking in the middle of let's just go sit down, have a drink, and talk." Do you know what I mean? So she asked me for a selfie. She was like, "This is a very funny story that I've never told before, actually, ever on a podcast or any interviews. I'm going to keep this one for this." So next thing you know, she goes, "Can I get a selfie with you?" And I went,
"You should have said no photos, please."
I went, "Sorry, I don't get photos of fans."
Did you?
No.
Kieran, I would have loved it, mate. I would have loved it.
But it's actually even funnier, right? So she comes up to me and she's like, can we get a selfie together? And I went, yeah. Do you mind if we get a few? Can I get a few options in case I don't like how I look in it? Because we might not get this opportunity again. She went, oh, yeah, sure. I'm great at selfies. You'll be fine. You look fine. So she gets out her phone. Now, picture this, right? Joe Alden, her boyfriend, is standing right beside us.
Fuming.
We here. And she takes out, I give her my phone. So she gets the phone. She takes the photo. And in my wee brain at the time, I thought, well, if I kiss her on the cheek, the photo's going to do better. So she has the photo, and I go like this. She pouts, does that, and then I go in like this here. I go like that. It was just a split second decision, and she wouldn't take the photo. She was waiting. when I went, catch yourself on, just appreciate the photo. This is okay. Joe Alden's just standing looking over at us. I'm like this, and then she takes the photo, and then she goes, "Oh, you look great," and then she takes another couple of photos, and
she wouldn't take the one with you pouting.
She kind of. The reason why I noticed this was because like a year after it, when I went, my friend goes, "Do you have a live photo?" I went, "Yeah, I have a live photo on my old phone of Taylor Swift in her photo." But you can see, you know, like the wee split second millet, you know, when you click on the photo, you can just see me going like this. My lips like that on her cheek, yeah. And okay, I just thought it was just a really funny story. And
so you have the photo?
I have the photo, yeah.
Have you ever put it online?
No, you see, I've never put it online and I don't want to. You know what I mean? Because I just...
Can you show me off camera?
Yeah, I can show you off camera.
Then what we do is we hold Tiernán down and we take a photo of the photo.
Yeah. Well, it's on my old phone.
So she then shouted at you about 10,000 hours and stuff like that, didn't she?
Yeah, so we got the photo and that was okay. And she went off. And then I was like, at that time, I accidentally ordered 2,000 business cards. Now, you know, on this website, I meant to get 200, but I clicked 2,000. So I had loads of them, bag loads of them. And before that, Codaline were playing at Custom House Square. Square. So yeah, so I was like giving out my wee business cards, trying to get people to direct to my music and stuff, kind of getting rid of them.
Get the following.
That was the week before the whole Taylor Swift thing happened, the moment. So I called her back. I went to some random person, can you get her back? So this girl from Belfast, imagine just running across the Tipsy Bird over to Taylor Swift. Excuse me, he wants you back. So I'm standing there like this, and she comes back, and I give her my card. I goes like, there's my name and social media, the number, and she takes it. She went, thank you so much. So after it, I went in and I played the rest of the night. I had her up dancing, singing for 3.5 hours to all the songs. And at that time, I didn't quite know what to play. I was like, because it's a very, intense moment. You're like, what do I play next? So I turned around and my phone was on the stage at the back, and I went onto her Spotify and went onto Taylor Swift's radio. So it's all the songs that she likes and she listens to. So maybe in there was Bryan Adams.
So you could guess,
Summer 6ix9ine, it was Keith Urban. It was maybe Dermot Kennedy or Westlife songs. So I just started playing the songs I knew. And then she was sitting, her, Joe, and these other people, and I went, this next song, I started getting confident on the mic and all, and I went, this is for all the couples in here tonight. And then I went, this is for all the headers as well. A couple of headers. And then she was like, what's headers? I just saw her looking. So someone was trying to explain to her what a header means. Don't know what they said. And then I started playing Let's Get It On. Like, I've been with a child. Yeah. And her and her boyfriend Joe were just dancing around, having a great time, a great night. And it was only after I started getting a really good conversation about the 10,000 hours. As she came over to me, and when she first came over to me, and oh my goodness, you're so good, what's your name? She gave me this bundle of notes, cash out of her own pocket, and she gave me £400 of her own money. It was 8 £50 notes. And that's something I've actually never said. I've never really said how much it was.
What was that for?
As a tip, to say, well done, get yourself something nice, you deserve it. So it was I didn't know what to do, because when you get money from like younger, from your granny or your aunt or your mum or something, you're standing there and you're like
trying to give it back.
You're like thanks. So like imagine.
Well, no, you don't have to. I'm like, yeah, give it to me.
I said that. I was like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And then I was thinking, McDonald's my home. But I had it standing in my hand, and like I was shaking like that, and she was just standing in front of me. I was like, do I like just like try to give her it back, or do I like put it in my pocket? Yeah. So like we're mid having a conversation. I'm like having the money. I'm like,
can you imagine going to the Boucher Road in McDonald's in Boucher Road, and you go, oh, that's a crisp £50 note. Where did you get it? And you go, if I told you, I don't actually think you believe me.
Yeah.
Although an hour ago, Taylor Swift just gave me. Yeah. Go, you need medical attention.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll tell you, there's a couple.
Can I just say, first of all, is she gorgeous?
Oh yeah, she's
like,
lovely.
Is she tall? Like, what are we looking at here?
She was tall. Yeah. She was just
smell good.
Yeah, she smelled lovely. Yeah.
I love Taylor Swift.
She was tall, and she was just how she kind of really looks in all the videos and all the photos and stuff. And she was just a really just a really lovely woman. She just made me feel really comfortable. And the thing about her was, she probably knew walking into that bar, okay, here's a young artist. He's doing his thing. He's probably going to be nervous. So before we even had a contact with each other, or had like hello, or she came up to me, every song she was clapping. She made sure to make me feel really welcome, and I was doing a good job. But because she gave me the tip at the time, was a great excuse to go back to her after without feeling that I was annoying her, and say cheerio. But like, what do you say to Taylor Swift when you see you later, bye, cheerio, be in touch,
DM me, babes. DM me. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take you to B&Q in Lisburn next week. Get you some good tiles.
Yeah. So I walked over to her, and she was chatting to Joe again, and I says, look, I just want to say thank you so much for whatever you give me there. Like, you didn't have to do that. It was really kind of you. She said, oh no, you deserve it. I heard you singing Keith Urban songs. You like All American Country. I heard you singing Ed. Do you know that me and Ed are like best friends? I says, yeah, well, sure. You know, everything is changed together. And she said, Joe's helped me write the album and her new album, and she was just really, really nice. So I said to her at the very end, I went, how can I send you my own music, or is there an email, or is there something I can send, just let you hear my own stuff? She went, look, I can't be giving out anything, personal information or anything, but I've got your card, I've got your number, I've got your information, so I'm going to look in, see what you're doing, keep an eye on you, and send you positive vibes. And that was the last thing she ever said to me. But it was only after, when I was thinking about it weeks after was during my set, I was singing a song. I think it was one of my own songs maybe at the time. And she takes out her phone and she stands and records me singing my set just like a normal person would, and I'm just sitting thinking like, oh my goodness, like I'm in her pocket.
No filming, please. Artists that work here.
Yeah. And she said to me at the time, she went, you know, can you please hold off for 3 days before you put the photos out? So I was like, yeah, no problem. So that night, shout out to my best friend Aiden, I rang him. I was like, you're never going to believe what's just happened. He's like, what? I was like, I sent him the photo of me and Taylor Swift, and he was like, no, no way. So I called in at his house that night because my best friend were like brothers, and we sat down and I just went, and this is what she gave me. And it was the money. And I went 50, 100, 150, and we counted it together, and it was 8 £50 notes, and we just thought it was unbelievable. And I kept the notes for like a year. I was like, I'm not going to spend that. Like, I thought it's more meaningful having these £400 never news that Taylor Swift gave me that night rather than spend it and buying something. So I actually kept it, and then, you know what, I was thinking to myself, I was in a music shop one day and I saw a beautiful Martin guitar, and it was like £700, and I thought, what a great excuse to get it.
Wow. Yeah.
So then I thought, you know what, I think she would much rather me buy a guitar that I love than just have the money lying in my room, you know, in an envelope, keeping it safe to tell people and show people about it, which is pretty cool. So I kept one £50 note, and I went into the music shop, Match it's actually, and I give them the money of Taylor Swift. Now, people think I'm crazy. You spent that money would be worth a fortune. That's a story. You know, you could sell this, that, and the other. No, like, you know, I got the guitar.
Invested it back into music.
So I kept one £50 note, and I spent the rest, and I got the guitar for £300, and I love that guitar. And then that leads on to another story. That guitar got wrecked at a pub gig I done in Belfast. A woman actually threw 2 pint glasses at my head in an assault, and cracked.
No, my girlfriend did apologise about that. So can we just put that on record? Julie did apologise for assaulting.
What
Tiernán.
happened there, Tiernán?
Tiernán, what happened, man?
Yeah, I was playing about 7 months ago actually. I was just playing in a bar in Belfast, and a woman came up to me and she started, you know, verbally abusing me, like giving me a lot of jip before the gig and stuff like that. And I'm
drunk?
Like, yeah. And I'm like, go away, you know, like leave me alone. I don't want anything to do this. And she actually grabbed my nipple. She twisted it round to intimidate me. And I'm like, listen, like, I don't want to do anything here. Like, you know, my name's in the papers. They all have my number. You know, if it never happens or whatever, or an assault or her boyfriend, and I'm going to be in the paper for assault.
So, yeah, like musician assault. So
and I don't want to be a Liam Gallagher or Oasis just yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really need that right now. So I just kind of left it. And then her boyfriend come over to me, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm not going to be able to hold my cool as much now with the boyfriend rather than the girl. So he came up to me, he's like, apologise for her, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, just sit down, leave it alone. So I said to the bouncer, excuse me, I feel really intimidated right now. I'm about to do my gig. Can you please remove these people, or please just keep an eye on them? So the bouncer comes over and he says, right, drink up and then you're leaving. He walks away, leaves. She's even more wound up. She comes up to me, and all I can think in my head is, she's going to headbutt me, she's going to slap me, it's going to be humiliating, she's going to, you know, punch me or something like that. She's going to get really aggressive. She left, and as I had my guitar, the Taylor Swift guitar, she just stood up, grabbed the pint glass with stuff in it, and absolutely fired it full force at my head, and it just missed my head on the CCTV by an inch, and I went like that. And then she grabbed another one, and she threw it up again, and I put my guitar up like that, and it smashed into my guitar. My guitar smashed, my mixer got broke, loads of things got broke, and I was all shook up about it. And yeah, you know, it was a horrible time.
Stopped and
yeah,
you're obviously a wreck and angry and frustrated. And
I was just shocked. Like, I just didn't know what to do. And you know, after it, like, obviously I couldn't do the gig, you know, because I was like in shock and all my equipment was ruined, and you know, the police came, and it was a bit of a scene and stuff like that. But it really taught me so much, because like, how lucky am I? Like, that was the day that I handed in my notice in the special needs school that I was working in.
Yeah.
To do music full time. That was that was like a big day for me, like a new beginning. So I was going to Nashville at the time too, so I was looking forward to that. And all I could think about was like, if that pint glass, people have, I'm not saying I would have died, but like people have died from a lot less. Like a punch.
You could have scoopy scarred, you know.
It smashed right.
And if it got into your eye, blind.
Everything, over nothing, you know, like mostly wee fights in school or stuff that you've had, or matches or football matches, you can take some accountability. I said that back, I did this. But at that time, I didn't, you know, and I was just thinking, like, if this put it the other way, right? If a man came into a bar and twisted, you know, some girl's nipple, and threw pint glasses at her head, he'd be done for
I'd lose his job.
Attempted murder. Do you know what I mean? And sexual assault.
How did that end up?
Yeah, well, it's all going through, like court and police and stuff at the minute.
And the lady was being questioned and arrested and charged and released and all that. And what was her recollection of it?
I don't know. I can't really comment too much on it because I don't really know. But you
get a court date though, because you have compensation to claim for your guitar and stuff.
Probably, something like that.
But and like you were getting paid like $1 million for that gig, weren't you? Like
I didn't get paid anything for the gig.
We can put that on record.
I got £30 and told to go home, so that's what I got.
That's
from that
terrible.
gig.
But to go from such two unique, like, look, this to me is like the artist's journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, one thing I've learned about you so far is you're very smart. You're very streetwise. And I love how you've, not releasing music until you're ready. Taylor Swift came in, you went, right, how can I work this? I went into her Spotify radio. I played her tunes. I got her to warm to me. I communicated. Like, you seem to have a bit of a...
And now
you like... I'm not I say streetwise, but you come across as a very intelligent, emotionally intelligent fella as well. You didn't panic. You didn't overreact. In like Taylor Swift, people would lose their minds. You were like, right, Cam, how can I work this to my advantage? That's a very mature way of going about your talent.
Of course, thank you. Yeah.
But you've gone from Taylor Swift filming you, giving you all this money, to some woman in West Belfast picking up a pint glass going, you fucking mad gag, or whatever. To now you're going to court.
It's the rock star.
Taylor Swift ruins relationships. Taylor Swift wrecks careers. That's the headline of the podcast.
So it's crazy, and the thing about it is, like, it actually strengthens so much in me. Like, I've got like a faith. Like, I've always like had like my own faith, and I believe that my granda, who passed away when I was 7, he was into music and songwriting. Like, he's my guardian angel. So, like, I really do believe that God and my granda and everyone was there that night with me. Because, like, if that had have hit my head, you know, that was the PTSD from that. Like, if that had have, what would have happened? Or, you know, and I think to myself too, that, like, if anything, rather than money or to get my name out or whatever, if anything can come from this, is that musicians around Belfast, Dublin, Cork, the whole country and the world need to be more protected and more looked after. Because I said to that bouncer, I don't feel right.
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought in my head, she could throw a pint glass at me.
And we were actually lucky enough that we'll play in like the city centre, Belfast, where there actually is bouncers. An awful lot of the time, you know, if you're playing a smaller bar out in the country, similar things happen, just as many of those incidents happen, and it's just the bar staff working, and you know, and you have to deal with it on your own, and you're the target as the performer. And
all you're doing there is entertaining. Like, I had it a couple of weeks ago at the Empire in Belfast. We did a show, and the show was brilliant. It's about 220 people at the gig, and I was doing the show all night, and I was hosting it and all that kind of stuff. And towards the end of the night, I came back out, and I went, ladies and give it up for your headliner, fantastic stuff. And this guy just started to approach and says, but I'm looking straight ahead, but he was coming like on my right, and I just see him coming up. I was like, whoa! Straight away, just thought Will Smith. Just thought of Will Smith straight away. So whoa! And he comes up to the stage. Now, he could have a bottle in his hand because he maybe didn't like one of my jokes. Now, the show was really good and there was great energy and positive vibes there. And he just went, "Can you just wish my friend is happy 30?" And I went, "Fucking mate." You don't just sneak, you know what I mean? Like, because you're so, how would you say, you're so vulnerable to an audience. And also, I've been in places in Belfast where there has been singer-songwriters out, and I said this to Sean before about people giving them jip and lip, and I remember taking a picture of one young lad and I put him up on social media. I said I went to watch him and heard he was good. I saw he was on. I said, look, let's get a pint, and we sat and we watched, and he was doing covers, and I thought he was a fantastic musician.
Yeah.
But next thing you know, 7 people arrive. There's a fight between 2 people within that group. next thing you know, they're all falling backwards.
Into the gear.
And where is the space? The space is near the performer. And that's their income.
And you can knock a tiff out, no problem, because if
There
they
you
hit
go.
the microphone
And
stand.
it's so, obviously, like, you are in a very vulnerable position. So are you a religious man?
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be. I think everyone to their own. Do you know what I mean? I would never try to be one of them people who put it down people's throats. I think you're on your own journey. You believe in what you believe in. But like growing up, my family would have an Irish Catholic family, going to mass on the Sunday morning and stuff. And I would have had my wee rosary beads when I was younger, growing up. For GA matches or doing a wee gig, and that's kind of stuck with me ever since. Like every time I go traveling or go away or in the car or to Nashville or whatever, I'd have like full my rosary beads in my suitcase. I'm not afraid to say that.
You see those videos, like the most Irish thing to do is your mammy blessing your car when you buy a new car. With
Oh yeah,
water and all that.
yeah. It's like it's something like a free wash.
Yeah.
Like it's the whole thing.
These like Irish superstitions? My mum used to open the front door and the back door. She'd let out so on New Year's Eve you'd let out last year and you'd welcome in the new year in the front door. All that kind of like my mother.
never had that.
My mother was big into Padre Pio.
Oh yeah.
It was like her second husband.
Of
I'm telling you,
healing,
she
isn't
loved a bit of Pio.
Yeah,
loved him.
Saint of healing.
I met my Nicole Scrawley actually gave me, when I first got my car, a wee card of Padre Pio.
Yeah.
Just to stick in the car, and it's still there. Like,
Yeah.
I've had
Is it on the
other
dash?
cars.
Is it on the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to have it there, like.
Yeah, I am not a religious person. My mom was very religious, and when she was ill, I remember her with the rosary beads and the Padre Pio and all that kind of stuff. I remember she got great comfort from it.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, well, good luck to her. If what I'm trying to say to you, like you, I would never, obviously, each to their own and stuff like that. Like, and I thought, you know what? If you get something out of it, then it's the best thing for you. Personally, I don't, but I will always respect.
Yeah.
And people say I go to church, for a wedding or a funeral or
just the events.
you know the tick the box exercise. Make sure you're seen.
Free cup of tea and sandwiches.
Free cup of tea and sandwiches. And
Andy's there.
Oh, he was a great man. Wasn't he? He was great. And then like after
any whiskey?
and then you walk out and you go, he's a bit of a bollocks, wasn't he? Honestly, I never liked him.
Yeah.
Now, you get introduced to Q Radio, and this is where you go into Q.
Yeah.
And you meet someone in Q. Talk to me.
So
you in chat with Errol, you've had all these things, you're gigging around, you've got a few singles, and you then go into Q. Is that right? You get invited in, is that right?
Yeah. So Earl rings me up. He says, I love the song. I've got a release date. Would you like to come in to do an interview? So I says, yeah, of course. So I went in up on the Friday. I think I'm not too sure, but there's a girl who can tell you exactly what date, what time, what day, what I was wearing, what I was saying.
We're going to learn this in a second.
Yeah. And I went in and I met Yaz and I went and done the interview and I played Strangers for the very first time, which was an amazing feeling. I was absolutely buzzing. I was so happy. And then from that, Errol came in and said, "How's it going? All good. We're going to put that in the playlist now." And that was my first song in the playlist.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah. And what happened then?
Then I met a lovely girl by the name of Kushla Rice.
Kushla Rice, who does the 10 to 12 show.
Yes,
at
she
night
does.
time.
Keeping it quiet.
Keeping it quiet with
Keeping it quiet.
Hey guys, keeping it quiet.
Keeping it quiet with Kushla Rice.
Kushla Rice.
And that is going great too now. She's my girlfriend.
So how did you guys come about?
Do you know what? I just wish
She slid into the DMs.
you're gonna have to get us on together sometime.
Did she slide into the DMs?
Well, I slid in the DMs.
Oh my! Taylor Swift would be furious.
Normally if Krista was here, I'd be like, "Well, Chris, you take it from here," and she'd be like, "Well, what happened was
It was a normal Tuesday. I was doing my makeup.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And my phone buzzed.
So what happened there was around that time.
Did you meet her in Q?
Yeah. So. I'll tell you, explain it. So I came in that day and I was doing an interview and it was happened to be her very first day as well. So on her, she was like one of her first days. So on her first day, Errol sat down with her and went, he got Strangers, my song. And by coincidence, he turned around and went, so what do you think of this song? So he played her Strangers and she went, oh yeah, he's really good. Who is that or where's he from? And Errol goes, that's a local lad. Tiernán, Heffron, local lad. And she went, oh, I've never heard of him. And next thing you know, Errol goes, should I get him in for an interview? Okay, maybe that wasn't that day. And Christian went, yeah, sure. So then I came in for an interview, and that was the first day she was recording her wee promo stuff and that. So she's going to kill me for saying this, but she was round the corner listening to my interview. And, you know, she maybe thought said I was cute or something like that, but she didn't want to like come out or like say hello or anything like that. So after my interview, I turned around and looked out through the window, and there she was, just going, like waving, and I give her like a wee quick wave, didn't think anything of it, turned around, chatted the Az and Errol. And then that day I was busking in town, and I saw that she followed me on Instagram.
Oh, here we go.
And I followed her back, and I looked at her story, and she put up, you know, Q Radio, I'm now, you know, got my dream job and got my own show. And I genuinely just thought to myself, like, well done, like that must be, you know, I'm on my own journey. I know if I get like a opening up gig, or, you know, Taylor Swift happens or something really cool, that means a lot to me. So I thought, there's a girl, you know, following her dream, doing her passion, well done. So I give her a message saying like, hey, like just saw you've got your show, congratulations, well done, I'm sure that's a dream come true for you. And then she said, thank you so much, I really enjoyed the interview. So we both loved the messages, and then we just left it. I just left it because I wasn't.
Nothing worse.
I wasn't trying to. Wasn't looking at a relationship. I didn't think I was going to meet someone so nice. I didn't think anything of it, and so we just both left it. But every time she was on our show and some of my songs got played, like I was playing at my friend's parents' wedding, and I played my song "Come Closer." So they texted into her show, "Hey, by chance, could you play Tiernán Heffron Come Closer?" Now, she never really heard of me at that time, other than the first couple of times she met me. So she checked the system, and by chance it happened to be in the system. So she thought that was really cool. And you know, Kushla, she gets a really like buzz out of helping people and other things. So next thing you know, she texted me on DMs on Instagram, and she was like, she texted me on DMs. I mean, she DM'd me on Instagram, and she's like, "Hey, I'm playing your song right now. This is so cool." Or so every time I was like, "Thank you." Then I had done a wee stalk on the Instagram.
Oh, here we go. Deep dive.
And I noticed that she, you know, went to uni in Manchester. I went to uni in Manchester.
I lived in Manchester.
Did you?
7 years.
Yeah, no way.
Charlton.
Cool. We were all there at the same time. Who
What
knows?
year?
I was there in 2018 to 2019.
I was there 2004 to 2013.
I was only 5.
14. You were only what?
I was only 5 back then.
Go away, mate. You absolute disgusting.
I was watching David Beckham on
So you were born in 1999?
I was, yeah. It was a brilliant year.
So you were 2 years old when 9/11 happened?
Yeah. I
Wow.
can't remember it.
I was on the way to the gym
Were you?
when I was like 18. That's crazy. So go on anyway.
So yeah, where was I? So we started chatting, and then I dropped like the Manchester conversation and been like, well, so you went to uni in Manchester, and we started chatting just back and forward. And then there was a networking event in Belfast. Don't know if you've heard of it. You probably maybe heard of it. Like Black Studios are putting it on, Jessica Hammond.
Yeah.
So it was in Lavery's on a Monday night. So I went over just to, you know, network and see different things and people performing. And Q Radio was there. So like Amy was there, Yaz was there.
What month was this?
This would have been, let me just ring Kushla. This was April.
I joined in May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You did,
May,
didn't you?
yeah.
And so I says to them, oh, like, how's it going? You know, ticket Kushla's not here. Oh, no, she's working out. Oh, cool. So I kind of put two together, and I thought, well, if she's finishing at 12 and I leave here at 11:30, I give her a message and say, hey, like, do you want to go for a drive, or we can get a coffee?
A drive?
What else can you do at that time other than go a wee drive?
Go for a drink. You go for a drink?
Yeah, but it was like 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
Everywhere was closed. And this was on
strange.
Monday night. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry,
First time do I go for a drink.
Was there 24-hour McDonald's somewhere?
Hey, that was the best option. So I said, look, if you want to go out, we can go for McDonald's or whatever. So we picked her up, and she got into my car and just chat away, and went and got a McDonald's. She only had a Diet Coke that night. That was everything. I think she was a wee bit reserved. She didn't want to get too much, to just have a wee Diet Coke. So we sat and we chatted from like 12 o'clock to like 3:30.
Oh my God.
And I was working in the school the next morning, getting up at like 8, and then from that we just started chatting and meeting, and now we're like coming on 7 months, and it's going great.
Amazing.
We're
And how do you think all of that happened?
sorry,
How do you think all of this originated?
what?
This, how you're with culture, how these opportunities happen. Do you know what happened? Because you went to that gig in Mahara.
Pretty much,
Because
yeah.
Errol was there.
Errol, the songs.
There you go.
And before you know it, like, things was work out. You know, I love the quote, like, it works out better than what you could have dreamed of. You know, I really do love that quote, because even for me to get one song played on the radio was amazing, you know, for me. And at that time, I was going, and I booked going to Nashville as well. It's another interesting story I'll love to tell you about. But like, I was going to Nashville, I was like working with music. I didn't think that, not that I didn't want to meet someone, but I didn't think that I was capable of like having a relationship, being able to be there for someone all the time, being able to be at texting back all the time, you know, be able to be that person. And then she taught me that, you know, you don't need to give up one thing or the other. You can do it all while having the support and comfort of someone to be there for you.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. But
best thing
it's
ever
about
happened.
doing that gig in Mahara when you were putting yourself out there for these weekend gigs.
Crazy, isn't
You
it?
don't realise, people don't realise, especially when you're a performer and you're, whether it be comedy or sort of saying yes to things, going to do the gigs that you don't really want to do,
Yeah.
ideally, but you never know who's watching you.
And it just takes one person to believe in you, like
Takes
Errol
one
did.
person, like
And
Errol did, and now look at you. You've got
he believed in Kushla too, you know.
believed in Kushla. Now you've got a lovely
Yourself.
partner. You've got a lovely partner. You've got your music is on the radio. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Your career's really starting to fly. Now you brought your guitar.
Yeah, I brought my guitar.
We want you to play a song for us. Will you give us something?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
I'll give you something, yeah.
Tiernán, you got yourself set up on the guitar, but before we started the podcast, you were talking to me about Nashville.
Yeah.
So, are you going out to Nashville? What are you playing out? Because have you been out? How many times have you been out?
I've only ever been out once.
Just once, yeah.
Recently.
And it's a massive music place.
Oh yeah, it's huge. You know, before, so about 2 years ago, I was in a relationship, and at that time I, you know, saying to my girlfriend at the time, like, I want to go to Nashville, I want to do this, and then it was kind of like, you know, it was kind of difficult at the
Yeah.
time, and then as soon as it ended, it finished. Like, you know, 2 days later, I was in my bedroom at 2:30 in the morning, scrolling through my phone, and I thought, you know what? Belfast and Nashville. Now I can actually do this.
And then it comes up, it's actually Dublin
Yeah.
or London.
I can actually do this. So I went on, and then I booked my flights. Now, I didn't know anybody there. I didn't know anything. I had, you know, my job at the time, nothing, but I booked the flights anyway, so I had to go, and I had to tell my mum and dad, look, I'm going. And I booked the cheapest flights, the cheapest hotel. I was going to stay in a motel by myself and just not even bring my guitar, rent one out there, and just knock on every door, just bust, do something, meet people. Yeah, I've got a story to tell, and I've got a thing to deliver to the world, I feel. And I booked the flights and everything. I was going to go over in the 3rd of July it was, so I happened to be there on the 4th. I didn't even mean to do that.
Yeah.
And then just before I was going over it, maybe a couple of weeks before, a friend of mine, Lee Rogers, who got on tour with Foy Vance, he's a good friend of Foy's, he actually got in touch with me, and we started messaging, because at the time I was doing a gig in the OES Centre. This was my first ever headline show. I booked it before I went to Nashville, and I thought, what a dream that would be if I could sell it out, because I went to Belfast Met, and my music classes happened to be there. It was 300 as a sellout, and I sold it out. I sold every ticket completely independently on Eventbrite, and I did a set that night of 18 original songs and two covers. And from that, I invited him to the gig. He couldn't make it, but he said, look, are you going to Nashville, kid? You know, like, have you got a plan? Are you bringing your guitar? Do you know people? And I went, no one, absolutely no one. He says, look, I work with a label out there. My manager out there is called Diana Mayer. Her dad is Brent Mayer. They're a well-known family out in Nashville in the music scene, in the country scene years ago especially. He goes, like, I'll show her some of your music, see what she thinks. So then that day, he showed Diana some of my music. She really liked it. She wanted to hear more. She heard about my story. She said, look, you can't just be coming over and staying in a random motel, you know, half an hour outside the town. What was he going to do? So she helped me out with accommodation in the city. She got me into writing sessions. She helped me into her studio writing. And they've worked with like Garth Brooks, Taylor Swift, the Dixie Chicks, Chris Stapleton. So I'm in this room in a studio surrounded by Grammys, awards winning artists and songwriters coming in. And her brother, when she heard about the Taylor Swift story, she told her brother Brian Mayer. And me and Brian became really good friends over there. He was like an uncle to me over there. He looked after me so much, even without the sessions. And she said, look, could you write with this guy for maybe a day? He went, I write with him for 4 days. Didn't know me, didn't know anything about me, didn't even really know my story. And we wrote like 8 songs together. And I worked with a producer called Brett Boyette out there, who's like a Grammy nominated artist and songwriter. I'm working 2 songs with him at the minute. And Brian had actually worked with Taylor Swift. he wrote part of her first album.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there and he's telling me about Taylor when she was younger coming through Nashville and how, you know, people believed in her and some people didn't, said she would never make it. And I'm telling him about, you know, my experience coming across Taylor and how I've landed in Nashville. And he knows her, you know, obviously they might have lost contact because she's a huge global superstar now. But like, I would love to say to her again, if I ever see her, like, I wrote with Brian wrote with me, and you know, it was such a bizarre time in my life.
Wow, but it's good though. It's
It was
good
cool.
stuff.
It's a good
though.
story, you know. It was only 3 weeks, and I
you're
came home.
brilliant, Tiernán. Like you got great energy, you got great positive energy about you, man.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Right. What are you going to sing for us?
I'm gonna sing a brand new original song.
What's it called?
It's called "Die in Your Arms."
Okay, so Cork in the North. This is the first time we've had someone on, Tiernán Heffron. Dying.
Die in Your Arms.
Die in Your Arms.
Brand new
brand new
original
song live on Cork in the North podcast. Tiernán, take it away.
I try to say goodbye about 100 times, and it still ain't enough. And I can't deny you give me so much love. And I know I say some stupid things, but I never mean to hurt you, baby. 'Cause I could die in your arms tonight, and my soul would survive. You do something to me that I can't describe. You're the love of my life, love of my life. I've made my mistakes and I've changed my ways. No one's perfect, baby, and I want you to see you're more than enough for me. 'Cause I could die in your arms tonight, and my soul would survive. You do something to me that I can't describe. I'm always gonna love you, baby. I'm never gonna stop feeling